Hello everybody and welcome to the Fenton Forest Farm here in the Fenton Forest map by Stevie. I am CWATTYESO and I am going to be doing a let's play on this map. I'm going to be starting it right now. This is day one on the farm. I've started in new farmer mode, farm manager mode, sorry. Which means we have got a bit of cash to start with. In fact, we have got, well, we did have the 1.25 million. I've repaid the starting loan, the 250,000 loan, and then I've proceeded to obviously buy the starting farm and field 8 because it's got grass on it. And I was looking at maybe buying field 5 and field 3. To add to my initial starting fleet of vehicles. Field 5 probably more than field 3 at the minute because field 3 does need to be harvested. And anyone who knows me from previous Farming Simulator 19 videos on my Estancia series or on my current Old Family Farm series will know I have a bit of an issue with the whole buying fields that are ready to harvest, harvesting the crop, selling the crop, and making profit off another farmer's hard work. I don't do the field flipping thing in the game, so I'm not going to buy field 3 until it's been harvested, but I am going to buy field 5. So we've got that. It needs to be ploughed. It is fully-ish. It is fully fertilised a bit. Field 2 isn't. Field 1 needs to be lime spreaded. Now, starting in farm manager mode, we do actually get all the starting equipment. So all the vehicles that you get basically in new farmer mode, you start with in farm manager mode as well. So you've got a pretty good fleet of starting vehicles and equipment. And what I've done as well to start this series and to begin this series is I've sat and actually gone through and made my own vehicle XML file where I've basically swapped out all the vanilla starting vehicles with Stevie's versions. If anyone obviously knows Stevie and knows him not just for the maps he creates but all the other mods he's done for Farming Simulator and Farming Simulator 19, he's done a lot of updates to a lot of the vehicles, a lot of the equipment in game. So I've gone through and basically replaced, like for like, the starting equipment Stevie has put in the map with his own versions where I can. I've had to substitute some bits and pieces like the premium integral because he hasn't done the same slurry spreader that you get in new farmer mode, so I've swapped that for the premium integral. Again, the tedder that he gave you in new farmer mode he doesn't do a version of, so I've had to substitute it with his Pottinger HIT 1214T. He does do the Kun SR314, so I've kept that, and the Crone. I swapped here the Kun baler for the New Holland big baler just to break up some of the Kun equipment. There was a lot of it, and obviously he's done a lot of the things. I haven't changed things like the rollers, the bale spikes, shovels, pallet forks, or the weights because I wasn't prepared. You know, at the end of the day, a weight's a weight. It doesn't need to be. I could have got the Stevie, replaced them with the Stevie versions, but there wasn't a whole lot of point to do so. So basically I've swapped things about. I mean, like the manure spreader, that's a different manure spreader to the one that Stevie gives you to start with. But again, he didn't do a modded version of the one that he gives you in new farmer mode. But everything else is a direct like-for-like replacement. With a few things like some of the colour variations on some of the equipment. Obviously, if I go back over here, obviously the Crone mowers have slightly different colour configurations because for Stevie's mods for whatever reason, you can't actually get the chrome sort of yellowy colour in the colour palette, or the actual chrome green. So I've had to go for the next best thing, and on some of the vehicles, like say with the Fenton 900, I've given a slightly different tyre configuration to the starting fleet, but all in all the vehicles are exactly the same models, make and models, as what you get in new farmer mode. So we're going to be starting, as I say, here on Fenton Forest, and I'm going to be trying to do a bit of everything on this map. We obviously got animals, so we're going to need to get grass straight away to keep the sheep happy, and we've got some cows over there which we're going to need to take care of, and we've got the pigs over here, which again we're going to have to provide stuff for, and then we've got the horses, which, to be honest, I just need to provide food and straw for, and water, because obviously horse helper is enabled and will take care of the actual riding aspect of the horses for me. So we're going to start out. Basically, here we are on field number 1, which is ready to harvest straight away with wheat. And then we've got barley, we've got canola, there are oats there as well, which kind of require, but we've only got the one harvester at a minute. I could buy a second harvester, that wouldn't be too much of an issue, so I could be doing 2 fields at the same time. But we're basically just going to have a bit of a drive. I'm going to put down straw, because obviously we've got the loading wagon, so I can, I think we've got the chrome loading wagon, so I can get all the straw hoovered up nice and loose, ready to provide to the animals, the cows, the horses, the pigs, and take care of everything that way. I'm then obviously going to be coming down with the mower and producing some grass from the area surrounding the fields. And I've started missing bits already, look. Now that produces a lot of straw. Like I say, I'm playing this series with quite a lot of mods. Pretty much everything released by Stevie is installed and enabled. And then I've got various other equipment mods as well that are added to make, not necessarily make things easier, but make things a little bit more varied. And obviously there are some great quality of life add-ons and extras that I've got available. We do what the AI normally does, which is reverse. So yeah, I've started with Stevie gives you the New Holland as a starting harvester. I've gone for, in my XML edit, his version which has wheels rather than tracks. Again, just to make it a bit different from, you know, the vanilla New Holland, which only comes with track options. And again, generally when buying in this series, when buying equipment, vehicles, tools, etc., I will try and make them a little bit customized, a little bit more unique looking, so they stand out a little bit more from the vanilla in-game stuff. You notice I'm not actually using the HUD either. I've got that turned off at the minute with the HUD hide mod. Might make things a little bit interesting when we get to the need to empty the vehicle. I don't think there's any way in vehicle on any of these nice screens for you to see exactly how full you are. Which is interesting. Again, I'm just going to reverse back so I distribute the straw hopefully a little bit more evenly at the edges of the fields. What I don't want to do is go and produce great humongous piles of straw. Right, I'm actually going to put the hood back on for a second just so I can see how much crop we've got. I can turn it off quite quickly with a button press, that's not a problem. Obviously we start with a good truck in the pace setter. Oh, it's not the pace setter, is it? It's the cramp thing. I normally go for a pace setter, I'll be quite honest. That's normally one of the vehicles I buy. If I'm going to have a truck and trailer, I tend to go with a pace setter because I like the extended capacity on the pace setter. And again, I'm missing crop. I'm going to miss crop. I'm not using the GPS. I have got the GPS mod installed and enabled. I just haven't bought it and configured it on these vehicles yet. That's something that will happen over the course of the series, the Let's Play. We'll get things like that added to our sort of most critical key vehicles and equipment. What's that back there? Pipe out at this point. Switch the harvest off and go find our truck. There it is. Take the covers off. I do like the lizard truck that Stevie gives us. Like I say, this loading wagon should be pretty good at carrying most of the crop. Wouldn't expect the truck to be able to tell me about fill rates on a machine. Hop in, back into the harvester. Now I have got course play enabled and installed as well on this Let's Play, but obviously with it still being in a beta version and still being heavily in development, there's still quite a few bugs with it, so I'm not entirely sure how much I'm going to be using it during the course of the series. I actually, from various tests I've done on other maps, I actually am finding that I actually kind of prefer to use the guidance steering mod, the GPS mod, to do the work. If I'm going to do the work myself and not hand it over to workers, rather than using course play, because like I say, course play is in development and it does have some issues still with certain aspects, and one of the big things that I don't like about it is that for some things it has some really, you know, hard-coded caps. So one of the things that obviously irritates me is the trailer thing, the way it detects trailers. And basically, if you're trying to set up a course in course play whereby, you know, you want to automatically have a tractor unload a combine harvester and you do a course, that course doesn't run if the trailer attached to your tractor has a capacity larger than 99,000 litres. I think they've set the the max trailer capacity in course play to be 99,999 litres, which is a bit kind of restrictive to me, because most of the trailers that I use are the modded trailers, the Stevie's modded trailers, and most of those have more than 100. They have 100,000 litres or more capacity if you buy them with the, you know, the most expensive extension option in the vehicle configuration. Get this. We'll hand this over to a worker actually. Let a worker carry on doing the field. Go back to the map quickly. Right, so we could. I need to turn off the ploughing state and line. Right, so field 2 needs to be fertilised. Right, we need a fertilising vehicle of some description. What do we have with narrow crop friendly tyres? John Deere, but that's kind of configured for bales. I think the Fenton has got narrow wheels, twin narrows. So I could probably use this. Get the con. Which is filled with herbicide, unfortunately. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is unload this, because we want liquid fertiliser in it. Let's get rid of that. Now actually that field doesn't have any crop on it yet. So I'm wondering, we probably can't fertilise that straight away actually. Now I need to find me refill point. Got manure, slurry and digestate out of there, herbicide out of there, so I'm guessing if we've got liquid fert it's going to be in the store here. Yeah. Buy it from the farm supplies. Supply purchase point. I do like that on the map. It's one of my favourite features. That and the manure storage silo at the top of the farm. I think that's a great add-on that Stevie's done to the map. And I'm kind of hoping he might consider releasing that as a standalone mod that you can use on any map. Because obviously in the current game, if we go into the store and have a look at placeables, silos, we've got haylofts, obviously. We've got an extended barn. We've got the new hayloft thingy, which came out on the mod hub yesterday and then got took down a few minutes later, but I managed to nab it before it got took off the mod hub. But basically, we have nowhere to store manure or slurry. On a map. Yet Stevie's given us a place of, well, he's put in a manure and storage silo. Manure and slurry silo. And I kind of wish he'd make it, like say, standalone so it can be used on other maps. Because obviously we've got the manure shop, manure trader thing where you can buy manure and sell manure, but you've got nowhere to just store the manure that you produce. So that's something we kind of need to keep our eyes on. Right, they've got the Fent. So we need to lime spread field 1. We also need to do the get the loading wagon on the go. What are we going to use with the loading wagon? 8R? It's a bit excessive, maybe. The 8R? But it works for me. Now, people might be wondering, why aren't you baling the straw and making straw bales? And the reason I don't bale straw is because you can't put it into the animal pens in bale form. You would have to put it through one of those choppers, blowers, and I don't use those. So to be able to just come and tip straw into these pens loose, I'm best off using the loading wagon. That's how I generally do things in game. Helper has a full grain tank, and that's not good because he's in the crop. Crop destruction is turned on in the options, in the settings. However, sometimes I may think about disabling it for instances like this where I'm using a worker and they're basically stopping incorrectly with the pipe in the crop, which makes it impossible for me to unload them without destroying crop. I'm not sure why he's missed a great big chunk of the field there either. Obviously the Giant's AI does have some issues, there's no doubt about that. That's a long common thing, and hence why we have mods like GPS and Courseplay to try and, you know, make automating aspects of farm life much easier. But I really don't understand at times why the AI worker will... Oh, that's not good. Got the tractor beached. So that's what you've got to kind of avoid doing straw heaps like that. Because, A, the harvester has a bit of trouble driving over it. Whoa, 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 slow down, slow down. Brakes are a little bit temperamental on some of these big harvesters, I notice. they get up to speed, but then they don't want to slow down. I'll empty him here, and then I'll do that bit that the AI worker has missed for whatever reason. I think that was the harvester beeping at me then. Pipe in, and then we will finish. We'll get this bit done. Like I say, I don't know why the AI workers missed this. Unless he's detected some object or something. I'm not entirely sure why he would miss the field. Back. Put put the swath down a little bit neater. Right, now I've got to go and resume from where he got full. But I've got to do so in a way I don't get beached on that swath pile. He's also missed a bit down there, look. Interesting. Right, you carry on, Mr. AI worker. Please don't miss any more of my field. You are not going to need to fertilise just yet, so we will go back to doing the straw swathing for loading. Like saying, got quite a nice. This is quite a nice map. I really do like this map. Been waiting for a Stevie map since he announced he was working on it. Because obviously he does a lot of great work, and I don't think I'm alone in echoing the statement that many people feel that this map should have been basically what this map is what the Felsbrunn map should have been from Giants. Giants should have been striven to have made Felsbrunn like this map, and then obviously have made Ravenport the equivalent. Done a Fenton Forest equivalent treatment for Ravenport as well, and then the two default base maps in the game wouldn't have been so heavily panned by people, and why people would have been so anxious to get mod maps released, and why they've been hassling modders for map mods pretty much since the game came out. Because obviously Ravenport and Felsbrunn were not very good maps. I didn't play Felsbrunn myself. I watched some other people playing it. I watched some other YouTubers, streamers and that playing it when it first came out, when the game first came out, and I was like, yeah, that's not a map for me. I'm not going to play on that. I did start playing on Ravenport when the game first launched, day one. However, I quickly decided I didn't like that map, and ended up going to Estancia Lapacho, which is what I did my first Let's Play series on. And I spent many hours on Lapacho because I felt that was the best map available for the game. Shoot me if you want, people. You won't feel the need to disagree with that statement, but that's what I felt. The fields were better on Estancia Lapacho for farming, for using all the different equipment. The roads were laid out better for getting equipment around the map. Obviously, I need to have a bit of a play on this map and see how flexible it is for travelling around the map with the equipment. I did do obviously some live streams on Twitch when the map was first in its beta form, the version 1 and version 2 beta versions of the map, and I did spend several hours doing some testing of those maps, live streaming, that sort of thing, and I did find some of the areas on the map were a little bit tricky to get vehicles into and around, especially with the traffic. Some of the larger equipment, I mean, certainly trying to get a combine around the map with the header attached, not easy on the roads. Now, I believe you can store straw in here. Yes, because I don't want to sell it just yet. Loose straw I want to keep for, obviously, animals. if I do ever do bales of straw, it will be to either sell in our own hayloft, our sale point here, bale sell point, or to take to the BGA and chuck in there so they can use it. So yeah, the combine clearly went a bit wonky. I clearly went a bit wonky on some of these first couple of lanes. One of the reasons why I kind of do like playing with the little mini map on, not because I need to know where I am, but because I like seeing the coordinates. It's very useful for making sure you're driving in a pretty consistent, straight sort of line, as well as when you were doing some work like I did recently on my old family farm stream when I was resizing some of the fields. I used the coordinates to make sure I got like new field edges the same length when I was doing new edges and extending the edges of fields. I was able to use that to measure to make sure I went the same distance. So yeah, we get the nice big chrome loading wagon, which is a lovely starting bit of a kit. So it's got decent capacity, which would be maximised greatly if I actually drove in a straight line and picked everything up. Now is matey boy going to get full again in the harvester, our worker? He probably is. I would like him to get to the end of the field, and at least then he's facing the right way this time when he pipes out. Now generally one of the things obviously in my first Let's Play series in FS19 on Estancia, what I tended to do when we harvested was just sell the crops. As soon as I got a trailer load, I'd go off to a sell point, sell it. What I'm now sort of learning, having played on the old family farm map and the series I'm doing on that, is that I'm tending to put the crop I harvest into the silo initially. So as we're unloading the harvester and we're taking it off the field and basically allowing the harvester to carry on working, I take the crop and put it in the silo, and then basically once the harvest is finished and things are a little bit more relaxed, I generally have a look then at the pricing screen and have a look at the prices of what the crops are selling for and where, and determining what crops we're actually going to sell, because it's not necessarily a case of just because we're harvesting wheat we're going to sell wheat today. If the prices aren't good, I would sooner keep the wheat in the silo for a bit longer and actually wait till we get better pricing. And that's kind of been a little bit more disciplined as a farmer, which is something I didn't do in my initial first series of the game, but I'm starting to learn, and that comes probably from obviously playing on a map like the old family farm, which is a much smaller, tinier map, which with much smaller, tinier fields and equipment. You don't get a lot of crop harvested, and again the harvester's kind of rolled forward a bit, which is a little bit annoying. I'm hoping he's going to reverse once he's unloaded, rather than just go steaming off down the field. Okay. He will get full again in a second because I wasn't able to empty that much out of him. But what we'll do is we'll go take this and put in the silo too. Assuming this cramp trailer, looking at it, does it tip up? Or does it just push everything out the rear door? Okay, it just tip. It just pushes the crop out the rear door. That's okay then. The reason I say that is because obviously on some maps I've played on, some of the big trailers that actually tip up to empty, they actually collide with the sell points, and they have some quite glitchy interactions with sell points. At the same time, I've tended, and for that reason, I've tended to use like either the distinction or the pace setter, because they're belly dump, they're belly tippers. They've got the hoppers on the bottom. But again, on some of the sell points, on some of the sort of maps, the ones which make you go up like ramps to get to the sell points, they can get stuck on those, especially if you've got quite a lot of crop, quite a bit of weight in the trailer. The hoppers get stuck on the ground near the sell point, and you kind of get the again. You kind of end up beaching your truck. You're going to get full in a second, so I'm probably going to need to, yeah, be ready to hop into the. It's not great that he you would think he would just disable the, if he's going to stop dead like that. You think he would probably disable the straw swath, so he doesn't create a mountain for him to reverse over. One of the things that I would love to see, and I don't think we'll ever see it, and I've talked about this before in, like I say, my previous farming simulator Let's Plays, and that is a slight change to, I mean, certainly the AI workers in the game, they need a big overhaul. There's too many issues with the AI workers in the game, so they need a big improvement anyway. I think from Giants, they need to invest heavily in that for the next iteration of farming simulator. But one of the things I would like to see from AI, especially when it comes to like harvesters, when they're working like with harvesters, is that if they should be aware that of the fill level of the harvester. So if they know that by basically driving down this row, that harvester's going to get full, they're going to have to stop and be unloaded, and by doing that, they would put the pipe out into the crop and cause basically the truck and trailer, or tractor and trailer that's unloading them, to have to basically destroy crop to unload them. They wouldn't actually start the row. They would stop at the top of the field before they even begin and basically ask for you to empty them so that they can actually complete the row properly. I mean, not like here, this is no issue because they've harvested that side of the field. It's not a problem for them. They can drive down this road, and if they get full halfway down it, that's not a problem. You know, they just stick the pipe out and the truck can come along and empty him. But obviously when there's crop on this side of the harvester, the AI should detect that and know not to drive down the row before it's been emptied. But that's, like I said, that gets into a whole other element. I know Courseplays tried to add that kind of element to its mod, where basically the trucks will try to pathfind to harvesters without driving through the crop. Even though Courseplay doesn't actually cause crop damage, It does try to maintain some realistic aspect of the whole farming experience by making sure that the trucks don't just willy-nilly drive through crop. They will try to pathfind around crop when they're travelling to and from harvesters in fields, and I do like that. I think that's a pretty nice addition. Again, I've just got to make sure we don't back up the crop. Right, pipe out, because he has finished. We need the truck. Get another. I know he missed some bits back that way. I'm not worried too much. The initial harvest is not something I tend to be too concerned about, making sure I get every little bit, because most of the time, obviously, when you start a game, the fields aren't ploughed, they aren't limed, they aren't fertilised correctly, and stuff like that. So for realism's sake, the first couple of days in game, I'm not too sort of worried about the initial crop, making sure I get every last twig, berry, grain, whatever, off the fields. But obviously once I've got to a position whereby I am planting the fields myself and doing the fertilising and everything myself, then I'm more concerned about making sure I get every little bit off of the field. The pigs need some food, so I could actually probably tip some of this in here. We ought to probably do the chickens as well, whilst I think about it, before I go and tip the rest of this in the silo. Get the chickens producing some eggs for me. Now I am using the egg pallet replacer mod, which works nicely in tandem with the Lizard auto loading trailer mod. It's made by the same guy, and he also does the wool pallet replacer mod. I have both enabled on this map, but I don't know at this moment in time how compatible they are until we get going through the series, because I do believe Stevie has kind of changed the fill capacities of like the egg boxes on chickens, so they don't so they basically put more eggs into a box, so they don't fill up the area outside the coop quite as fast as they do on the vanilla standard maps. I need to move this truck out the way, actually, thinking about it, because I'm going to need to come through here with the loading wagon. I haven't quite decided where I'm going to park the truck yet. I haven't quite kind of got a home in mind for the truck. I can't just leave it by the side of field 1, so I'm going to park it in here for now. This is kind of like a bit of an overspill shed. I know Stevie's put bales in here to maybe indicate that you probably should be using it as a bale storage. And I know we've got the little shed, the new shed on the this is obviously the public release version of the map, now available for everybody on PC from Stevie's Facebook page. And obviously one of the big changes from the beta version of the map is obviously we've got the manure and slurry storage silo here, which, like I say, I think is a great placeable. I hope Stevie can release it as a standalone placeable. That would be nice. I'm not proficient enough in the Giants editor to know how to pull out that that structure from the map and make it a standalone placeable for myself, as a private mod for myself, my own use. I'm not that proficient. There's certain things I can do with Giant's Editor and certain things I can do with XML files to tweak mods to my liking and that, and make things that I kind of want or would use in game. But that's kind of like my limit. I did see someone on Stevie's Facebook page had done a private mod of the silo here. This Stevie's silo for their own use on their own maps and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And again, a standalone version of this silo that you could place and use on any map would be awesome. I would welcome it, especially with the farm supplies thing on the far side, the refill point on the other side. I think that would be great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on. I'm going to get the rest of this straw picked up. I'm going to leave this episode here for now. This is the first, obviously, episode in this series on Fenton Forest. I will be doing more videos. I'm not sure whether I'll be uploading them daily at this point in time, because obviously I am doing the old family farm series as well, which is kind of daily at this moment in time. And obviously, to try and record 2 Let's Plays on the same game at the same time is a challenge, I'm not going to lie. And sometimes I do like to have a break and play some different games in between recording sessions. So, we'll see. We'll see whether I do it every other day or every 3 days or something for Fenton Forest. Basically, I'll await viewer feedback. For those of you that have sat through and watched this video, please leave in a comment down below how frequently you would like to see videos on this map and how frequently you would like to do this series. And based on that feedback, I will endeavour to try and accommodate the most popular decision, the most popular request from you guys out there, because at the end of the day, you're the viewers, you're the ones who are sitting watching this, and I want to try and obviously produce content that you want to watch. So again, if there's things you want to see me do in this series as well, like if there's any particular type of crops you want to see me growing and harvesting, or particular fields that you think we should be looking to add to our farm, and whether you want to see me doing contracts for the other farmers, let me know. You get to guide and drive this series as much as me, so please leave your suggestions and stuff again in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like the video, because that obviously is a great indicator to me that obviously it's something you enjoy and want to see more of. And of course, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and that way you get to be kept up to date and notified whenever I upload new content and material to the channel. Like I say, this series could be potentially a very long, lengthy series in time that, like I say, hopefully will be driven by a lot of you viewers and subscribers out there who watch the series. And, you know, I hate to use the term subscriber contracts, because I know that's a term used by other YouTubers and Let's Players and Twitch streamers, but it's something I would be tempted to consider implementing on a map like this, because obviously it's a good map, and doing a system whereby I'm doing farming and doing jobs for basically to fulfill requests by people in the comment section, the subscribers and the channel. So, you know, basically you guys are setting me tasks on what to do, what we need to grow, what we need to harvest, etc., and the quantities and stuff like that. So you can feel free to drop your suggestions for those types of things as well in the comment section down below. Okay, I'm going to end this video here at this point. I will see you all again very soon with another Farming Simulator 19 video content. Goodbye for now.